The fog always arrives first. It doesn't invade the city all at once. It creeps in, as if it were alive. That's how it all began for me. I didn't plan to go to Silent Hill. In fact, I didn't even believe the city still existed. They said it was just an urban legend, a ghost town hidden by constant fog where people saw things they shouldn't see. But I had a reason. A letter. The letter was yellowed, the paper damp as if it had been left in the rain. The handwriting was familiar, delicate, tremulous. It was from my sister. The problem? She had been dead for 3 years. In the accident, the doctors said it was instantaneous, no suffering, no goodbyes. And yet, there was her signature. At the end of the letter, just one sentence. "I'm waiting for you in our special place." Our special place. I knew exactly what it was. The lake. The road to Silent Hill seemed endless. As I drove, the fog grew thicker. The car radio started to malfunction, emitting static. Suddenly, a silhouette appeared in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, the car spun, and everything went dark. When I woke, the engine was dead. The fog covered everything around me. The silence was too heavy to be natural. I got out of the car. The air smelled of rust and burnt things. In the distance, a nearly fallen sign confirmed, "Welcome to Silent Hill." The streets were empty. Abandoned shops, broken traffic lights, toys scattered across the sidewalk as if someone had disappeared in the middle of a game. And then I heard it, a metallic sound, dragging. I turned slowly. Nothing, but the sound continued, dragging, closer and closer. That's when I realized it wasn't the sound that was getting closer, it was the fog. It was getting denser. The world began to change before my eyes. The peeling facades turned into rusty walls. Grills appeared where shop windows had once been. The ground was stained with something dark and sticky. Sirens began to blare, a distant industrial alarm like a bombing warning. And then I saw it. A creature crawling down the street. Its skin seemed melted, its body contorted into impossible positions. It had no face, just a smooth, pulsating surface. It moved toward me, and I ran. I hid in the hospital. The doors slammed shut behind me. The corridors were too long. The lights flickered. Stretchers lay abandoned, some bearing the marks of something that had tried to escape. That's when the radio started to crackle. Loud static, and as I walked, the static increased until she appeared, a nurse, but not as she should be. Her head hung to the side at an impossible angle. Her face was covered in a layer of smooth flesh, as if it had never been finished. Her hands held a rusty scalpel. She started walking towards me, slowly, clumsily, but determined. I hid in an examination room, and there I found something worse, a mirror. In the reflection, I wasn't alone. Behind me, someone was standing. When I turned around, the room was empty, but in the mirror, it was still there. It wore a metallic, pyramid-shaped helmet. It held a huge blade, momentary, observing, as if deciding something. I didn't know the creature's name, but I felt it wasn't just a monster, it was a judgment. I managed to escape the hospital when the sirens sounded again. The city returned to normal, or what seemed normal. I headed towards the lake. The path was covered in ash falling from the sky, like dirty snow. When I reached the shore, I saw a figure standing near the water. She had her back to me, long hair, white dress. My heart stopped. "Leah?" She turned slowly, and it wasn't her.
The face was a distorted version of my sister. It was as if someone had tried to reconstruct her from flawed memories. Her eyes were empty, her mouth opened, but what came out wasn't a voice. It was a sound of pain. And then I understood. Silent Hill doesn't bring back the dead. It brings back the guilt.
The accident wasn't instantaneous. She didn't die instantly. I was driving. It was raining. She asked me to slow down. I was distracted. I looked at my phone. When I looked back at the road, it was too late. The car rolled over. I woke up before her. She was trapped. She called me, and I got out of the car. I ran. I left her there. Guilt has haunted me every day since then, and now I understood. Silent Hill wasn't a physical place. It was a mirror. Every creature I saw, every sound, every transformation were pieces of me. The metal helmet, the heavy blade, the executioner. I wasn't being hunted. I was being judged. The sirens sounded one last time. The rusty world returned, and he appeared again, the figure with the pyramid. He walked slowly towards me. I didn't run. It wouldn't have mattered. He raised the blade, but before striking, he stopped. Behind him, my sister appeared. This time, as she truly was, without distortions, without injuries. She looked at me with sadness, not with anger, sadness, and she said only one word. Why? I fell to my knees. There was no answer. The creature turned to her and then knelt, as if awaiting my decision. At that moment, I understood. Silent Hill didn't kill me. It brought me there to choose, confess or run away again. The fog began to dissipate. The lake cleared. My sister's figure began to disappear. I'm sorry. Those were the words I never had the courage to say. The creature lowered its blade, and the city began to crumble. When I woke up, I was back in my car, on the side of the road. No fog, no sirens, no monsters. On the passenger seat, the letter was no longer there, but something was different. The weight on my chest, it had lessened. Some people say Silent Hill doesn't exist. Others say it's impossible to find it twice. I don't know what the truth is, but I know one thing. If you receive a letter from someone who has already died, don't ignore it, because some cities don't appear on the map. They appear in your consciousness, and when you enter, you never come out exactly the same person.